But, most millionaires don't become millionaires for something sexy anyway.
Yeah, it's always something random.
It's always something random.
The biggest thing I remember is like when you came in, we didn't have anything yet.
My first month or two was in your basement.
In the laundry.
In the laundry
Yeah.
room.
Which is crazy to think, bro, that we were dialing in a laundry room and now we're in 7,000 square feet, 3,000 downstairs. And now we're getting ready to move to our new location at 20,000 square feet, an entire level.
It's the law of large numbers. In order for you to receive results, you have to be able to put in the work, be able to put in those dials, talk to as many people as possible.
Leadership is earned, it's not given.
One thing about me, I'm not addicted to results, I'm addicted to improvement.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I gotta keep going, keep going.
From dialing and laundry room together to now taking over 20,000 square foot offices as a duo. We've got my good man Adam on with us today. Thank you for joining us for another podcast. Don, how are we feeling today?
Feel amazing. Appreciate you for having me, Rondon.
Been a journey, bro. Year and a half now?
Yeah, a year and a half went by really, really fast, but thank God for everything.
Yes, sir. So Alpha Code is coming off a record month. You guys struck 750. But we were talking a little bit before this, and none of this was a part of the vision coming out of high school, sales or anything, right?
No, none of this. I didn't even know this was even a thing,
Yeah.
Life insurance or any type of sales.
Yeah.
But
So straight out of high school, you took a break and then you went into aviation school.
Mm-hmm.
Where the heck did that thought even come from to fly airplanes?
So to be honest, I always wanted to be my own boss. I always knew I was entrepreneur mindset. But, knowing our culture, my dad, it didn't sit right with him, not being in school or, not pursuing something. So I knew I didn't want to go to college. And the next best opportunity for me that I actually did like was the aviation school. So, for my parents, for my dad, I went into the aviation school. But I knew it wasn't for me. But I did complete that. And I didn't use the degree, but we went from there.
So that was almost 2 years in aviation school?
Almost about 2 years.
And what was that like? Like, what the heck is aviation school anyway? Like, you just working on an airplane or are you in a classroom?
Yeah, so it's about like 40, like half of the time you're in a classroom, half of the time you're in the hangar. So obviously you need the book smarts, know all that stuff first, the text, and then the hands-on work as well when you're in the hangar working on the airplanes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy that, or how was that phase of your life?
It wasn't bad. I did learn things, which I did like, but I knew it wasn't for me. I didn't like having to be in a classroom or, being taught, what to say or told what to do. But I did enjoy it, and I did learn a lot from it, which is a plus.
Mm-hmm. I think the most dangerous thing when you're going to school is I took a year off in between undergrad and law school. And then when I finally went back and I was in the classroom again, I was like, bro, like I'm trying to make more than my professors. Like I'm not trying to sit in here and learn for another 3 years how to learn how to make $70K a year.
Yeah, literally.
And that's where the need for sales came in. But I don't know if you felt that and if it was due to taking that year off, but I found that taking that year off is like, it's lethal for actually going in there and finishing school.
Oh, 100%. And you learn a lot too. I feel like that year gap, it gives you like an understanding, lets you clear your mind a little bit and actually see what you want to do. Because I feel like a lot of people go into things, they choose a random thing and they end up not even having to pursue that because they made an impulsive decision, of going into school and pursuing a major that they're not really interested in. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's a good idea for a lot of people to, take a year off or, get your mind right, see what you actually want to do.
Yeah, especially if you're back and forth, it helps you really figure out what you really want to do and what you want out of life. And I don't regret that. I'm a firm believer, one closed door leads to the next open one, So
100%.
So graduating out of aviation school, you were in there for about 18 months. How big of a gap was it till you graduated and landed in sales?
It was about, I would say, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 2 years, 2 years and a half. I was just, ripping and running, doing my own thing, buying and selling things, reselling until, the opportunity came, and I always knew sales was for me, but I didn't know obviously that this individual vehicle was it. But, you know, most millionaires don't become millionaires for something sexy anyway.
Yeah, it's
You
always
know?
something random.
It's always something random. As long as you're good at it and you're a hustler, you get into it and you just demolish the leaderboards.
So you came in when we first started scaling, and I remember the group you came in with was like 15 guys. Like Elite had just started. Literally, it was like 12, 15 guys all started at the same time. What attracted you to the agency at the time when we didn't really have results? We were starting to figure things out. But what was it that stood out to you at the time?
So number one, being your own boss. That's number one off the start that stood out to me. Being your own boss and having an uncapped income, you know, potential. Those two things just sealed the deal for me. So I can make money from wherever I want and as much money as I want to make. That's ultimately sealed the deal for me. No matter what was I selling, I was in.
Mm-hmm. And then going back to the opportunity, how did you hear about it, or how long were you watching before you actually came in?
So I wasn't really watching for too long because the type of person I am, if I see something that I like and, you know, the vision is there, I'm going to jump on it, you know, right away. So we knew this one kid. He was about 21 years old, and he was one of the first guys you actually recruited.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen his results, and he was 21 years old. I mean, driving a $120,000 car, and they were saying he made like $32,000 in a month, you know, just from working at his house. Automatically in my head, I just thought, you know, if he could do it, I could do it.
Yeah. And Elite talked about that on the last podcast. He's like, as soon as I saw that dude at number one, he said, I knew I could come in and be number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Exactly.
So it's like, heck, but that's all it takes is to see somebody doing it. But the biggest thing I remember is like when you came in, we didn't have anything yet. We didn't move to the first office yet, right?
No, we haven't moved there yet. I think we started
2 months after you started.
Yeah, my first month or two was in your basement.
In the laundry.
In the laundry room.
Yeah. Which is crazy to think, bro, that we were dialing in a laundry room, and now we're in 7,000 square feet, 3,000 downstairs, and now we're getting ready to move to our new location at 20,000 square feet, an entire level.
Thank God, and it's pretty fast that we did it, but the vision was always there from the beginning. You always, you know, had that vision, and I feel like it trickled off to us.
Mm-hmm.
You explained the business very, you know, thoroughly, and that's all I needed. You know, everything was laid out for us, and if you're smart, you put 2 and 2 together, you have that vision, and, you know, things can get accomplished.
Mm-hmm. And that, to think about it, like you said, like the vision is always there, but you don't know that stuff is going to happen as fast as it does, you know?
100%.
And for us having to move freaking 3 offices in the last 18 months has been crazy, you know? So like us getting ready to move to the new 20,000 solves all of our problems. It's double than what we need right now at the time, so it's like it gives us that room to grow into.
Thank God. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we don't outgrow that one in about another year.
I think we need at least 2 or 3 years till the big move. This is not the big move yet.
Yeah,
the
we'll
next
fill
move
that.
is the Playbook compound, yeah.
Yeah, we'll fill it up though,
Yeah.
quick.
What do you remember about the early days, specifically like in Lindley days compared to now? Because a lot of people see, like, yeah, our office now is nice, beautiful. It is big, but like we didn't start like that.
Definitely. So number one thing I remember and I loved about that old office, it was only about 10 to 15 of us. And those 10 to 15 individuals were all sharks.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that first group I started with, yeah, it wasn't the best location or, you know, it wasn't the biggest office, but I was surrounded by the best of the best. You know, the Ronnies, the Musa Elites, and there was only, you know, exactly. It was only a good 12 of us maybe. So
dogs, though.
Exactly. You know, maybe 1 or 2 people wasn't a dog in there, but he was becoming a dog.
Yeah.
So the point is, I love the environment we were in. You know, it was 10 to 12 of us, and we were all dogs. We were all there to help each other, and we were all moving forward to one goal.
Yeah, bro, the energy there was different.
Second to none.
I love those small offices. Like when some guy DM'd me, he's like, man, I can't wait to have an office that size one day. I was like, bro, trust me, where you're at now is the best time of the business.
It is.
I don't know what it was back then. Maybe it was there was not enough stuff that we're busy with, or there wasn't enough stress.
It's not too many moving parts,
Yeah.
I feel like. You know, over here we do have, you know, thank God everything's getting big, the agency's growing, but there's too many moving parts, you
Yeah.
know? Even for guys like me, so imagine you.
Yeah.
You know, over there was nice little office, 12, 13 guys. We knew what we had to do. The game plan was done deal.
Yeah.
Over here, you got
150 guys.
150 guys. You got expenses. You got this, that, parking.
Yeah.
It's a lot more going on.
It's not
you know?
just one thing. But it's just crazy to see where we were and how far we've came together. Even just the laundry room days. I remember that when you first started dialing and your dad's name was on the caller ID.
I don't think I closed my first deal until my 8th day dialing.
They're like, why is the guy named Mohammed calling?
Exactly, and that's when I knew my caller ID was my dad's name. A client had told me on the phone. He said, "If your name is Adam, who the hell is Mohammed?" And I told him that was my
so
dad.
funny, bro.
Yeah, that was really funny. And we went from there. After that, we changed it, and it was only up from there.
History from there. So you got into selling. Now you're at a different phase in the career with where your team is at. But what could you say to bring us back to those early days when you were selling? What was it that you think? I think you had a good start, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't the greatest. But you were putting in that work. Most people, if they're not coming in, like, what would you say was your biggest week in your first 2-3 months?
I would say probably like 7,000-8,000.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest week out of those first 2-3 months. But as time went along, the trainings, keep asking questions. We just got better and better and better. One thing about me, I'm not addicted to results. I'm addicted to improvement.
Yeah.
The vision was always there. I just knew if I just improve and I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'll get better and better and better over time. And, that's what we did.
And the point that I'm making is, like, now you have the second biggest team within the Playbook as of last month.
Yes, sir.
You got jumped a couple spots. So it's like you don't have to be the greatest closer. Like, I don't think I'm the greatest closer on the team, but I do think I'm one of the best leaders.
100%.
So that's all you need to replicate what you're doing now, to lead a team like you're doing. Most people are like, oh, if I can't sell $80K a month, I can't scale a team. Like, bro, what? Like, that's not a normal result.
Completely false,
Yeah.
Completely false, yeah. As long as you have confidence in yourself and you know what you're doing and you have the, ability and the patience to train others, anybody can become a leader. But, more money, more problems.
Yeah. What was it that you think that you struggled with in the early days? Was it not coming from a sales background or not having that sales lingo, or what was it?
To be honest with me, I feel like the thing I struggled with is I never, ever, ever had a regular job before.
Mm-hmm.
So in order, for me to actually and come into being on my own, like that was the number one thing. I never had a structure. I never had a schedule. I never had a regular job. And now to do it, on my own, becoming an entrepreneur, it's like nobody's going to tell you what to do or how to do it. It's like you have to figure it out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I feel like, my biggest, leap. And thank God, got it down packed, and we're only up from there.
And that's what I think it was. Like, the schedule was an issue, but, like, dude, you were good on the phone. Like, early, like, tonality was there. Like, you had the script memorized. It was just some people are not used to that, and if they can't, if we're us looking now at the agency of the size that we have now, it's like some people that can't get that schedule in order quick enough, they don't end up lasting here.
No, they don't, because some people don't realize that time is actually money, especially in sales.
Mm-hmm.
It's the law of large numbers. In order for you to receive results, you have to be able to put in the work, be able to put in those dials, talk to as many people as possible. That hour each day times, 6 days a week, it definitely adds up over time,
And that's what I've seen it all go back to. Like, if you're struggling with tonality, you didn't put in enough repetitions. You're struggling with objections, you didn't put in enough repetition. You're struggling with getting the client through the application, you didn't put in enough repetition. All it is repetition.
That's all everything is. Yeah. I feel like that's all everything is, no matter what it is, even if it's the gym or you're in sales or anything, if you doing something over time and doing it every single day, you're just going to inevitably get better at it.
Is it safe to say that when you got your schedule in order is when your numbers start correlating together?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. As soon as I started getting my schedule down packed, the results started coming better, and I became addicted to it. My first couple months after, that leap, I made a promise to myself to get on the Zoom. The first one to get on the Zoom. I think I used to open the Zoom, for like 3 months. I was the one that opened the Zoom.
Yeah.
If somebody else opened the Zoom before me, I would be upset.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to, just having those goals, having that structure and the standards, and, inevitably hitting it.
And just being intentional about it. Most people, know where they need to get better, but they're not intentional enough about it, and they don't get better.
No, they don't.
That's what it comes
They don't
down to.
implement. Everybody has the information. Everybody knows what to do, but it's only the 1% that's gonna, automatically put it down 1, 2, 3.
So, not coming in with a sales experience, what do you think was one of the biggest things that you struggled with on the phone, outside of the schedule?
I feel like the patience. The patience is one thing I wasn't, I was struggling a little bit with, because sometimes you don't know when you're gonna get that sale, and you getting hung up on back and forth, you can lose motivation. That's how, humans are. And the patience just came from me after, those first couple closes, and I knew what it was. So the patience was the number one thing, being able to walk, the clients through the process and getting them, covered the right way.
And just kind of like being patient enough to be able to find your 2 or 3 closes a day. Now you're there whenever you clock in. Like, what did you close the other day? Was it like 4 or something? This week or last week?
Last week I closed
in the same day.
Oh yeah. Closed like 4 or 5 deals in a day, and one of them was the 9K banger.
How much did you finish off with that day?
That day I finished off 10-5.
10-5. Imagine, like, most people are not patient to be able to get there. That's the biggest flaw in new agents, is the patience is not there to get there.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. To me, as long as I got better and better. Some people go to school for 3-4 years and don't see any results. To me, what's 1 year? And you're making money while you're doing it as well. It's not like you're not making nothing. But that 1 year, you get much, much better. You know the business inside out, and obviously your results are going to be much, much better.
Is it safe to say by your 3rd month in training, you were probably making more, if not just as much as you should expect if you went the aviation route?
Oh, 100%. I think I doubled. My 3rd month, I doubled what an aviation, mechanic makes. I doubled
that
it.
took you almost 2 years in school.
Exactly.
Now, what is the most you've sold on your pen in comparison?
I sold 45,000 in a month on my own pen.
And what were you able to deposit from that specifically?
About 30 to 35,000.
Did you ever think that you would be selling insurance with your laptop from home or your office to make that much money?
It's probably the last thing I would think I would be doing right now, to be really honest. But
it shows you the beauty of sales, bro. Like, 2 years, you were expected to make. What were you expecting to make out of aviation school?
$1,500 a week, $6,000 a month.
And then you're making $32K literally 4 or 5 months later after being trained and knowing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Just, you got to be patient. It's the first 90 days. And that's what I stress so much to new agents. I'm like, bro, trust me. You're going to get your teeth kicked in the first 2 weeks, first month. It might last a month. For Al, it lasted a month. 4 closes in 1 month, that's getting your teeth kicked in, But be patient. 90 days hits. Now look, you were making triple what you were supposed to be making or what you were doing before, and now put a little bit more skin in the game. Work a little bit harder, buy more leads, and now you're making quadruple what you expected from previous. And that's what it comes down to, but most new agents can't weather that storm.
No, 100%. I feel like most new agents come in here and they see all the results everybody else is having. So it kind of feels like FOMO, and they want to see those results, but they don't know the work that everybody else put in. And that's just like anything you do. You're not going to be, the best when you first start, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
And a lot of people, we talked about that the other day in the Diamond Club, like, don't compare your 2 months to my little bit over 2 years of repetition. And a lot of people make that mistake. Like, hey, I want to close like these top 5. These top 5 have been slinging for some of them close to a year, some of them 6 months. Don't compare your 6 weeks to their 6 months. A lot of people make that mistake, and that's why that mistake comes when you're focusing on the money. For me, I always focused on learning before earning, and now it's turned into that famous term here in our agency, but most people don't do that. Now the shift from selling, at a 40K level to now leading the Alpha Code that is now came off a record month of 752,000.
Yes, sir.
752,000 in August. How many riders?
About 60 riders, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit over 50.
60 riders. So average agents doing over 10K, which is double the industry average. And you have a ton of agents that are coming in anew, so those numbers aren't true because of the agents that are in training.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really cool to see and witness is, what level you've now taken this to. How was the pivot from selling to now leading a team?
It was definitely a big pivot. You have to be able to, handle more problems. Everybody thinks it's easier to build a team and, just have a team and make money off the team, but you have to be able to deal with problems. I feel like Daniel G said this on one of his calls. The more problems you can handle, the more money you're going to make. And that's what it ultimately comes down to. You being able to handle problems, being there for your team, be a leader, and doing it in the front line so that way your team can follow up and do the same thing as well.
So it sounds like leading from the front and keeping very calm, firm composure has been a big part of the success that you've seen so far?
100%. Leading from the front and being able to handle problems, staying calm, answering people's questions, staying patient. That's the number one thing for me.
Now, in the phases of building, right? So you've been building how long now, would you say, since
I would
you started
say
scaling?
about a year.
About a year, right? So start selling, figured out what you were doing, and then start taking the building side super serious. How long did it take you to get to your first 200K month as a team?
About 3-4 months. 4 months in the business.
Fairly quick. I know people that have been here for 2 or 3 years and have not cracked that.
100%.
What is it that you think allowed you to get there so quick?
Me being that frontline person. And that's how I feel like it always starts off. We were doing the 200,000 with only like 5 writers. And that was crazy to see.
Bomb squad.
Bombs, literally. It was 5 writers. We were doing $200,000. And it started with me and the people in the office, I feel like. And that's just what it is. You come down with your dog and your first 5 are going to be dogs too. And everybody else is going to move along and they're going to build their teams. And you're going to go from there.
In the early days, in that sub 200, 300K level, what would you say are some of the biggest issues or problems that you dealt with?
I would say building leaders in my organization. That's the number one thing, because everybody says they want to be a leader, but when it actually comes down to being a leader, that's when everybody vanishes.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was what the number one thing for me, trying to instill people to be leaders. But I had to realize that leaders will show themselves.
Yeah.
You don't have to force somebody to be a leader. Anybody that wants to be a leader is going to show themselves off, and you're going to know that they have leader mentality.
Now, I was always told that. I was like, how do I develop leaders? How do I develop leaders? Leadership is earned. It's not given. That's what everybody confuses. You
100%.
can't take this guy and be like, hey, you're a leader now. It's not how it works. And if you do that, you're going to run into a lot of problems as an organization. I've seen people create the type of messes that they have now in their groups because that's what they do. They don't look at the guys that are earning it. They just hand it out and give that label.
100%.
It's a nightmare. Now at the level that you're at now, 750,000 in sales every single month. You guys are knocking on the door of 1 million. How does it feel like at that level? Is it safe to say that you're battle tested in all scenarios now?
I've definitely been battle tested in all scenarios, but I feel like we haven't accomplished anything yet. There's people out there that are 2, 3, 4 years younger than me that have tripled the team I have. It's good, thank God, that the pace we're going at, but there's different milestones to hit, and we're not done.
Yeah. What is the goal for the end of the year this year?
Definitely 1.5 million.
1.5. So we set 1.2 at the beginning of the year, I think.
1.2. The star goal is going to be 1.5. I think we're going to smack that.
1.5. Let's go. We talk about it all the time, bro. Last quarter, we doubled.
We are going to double.
Anybody could double. Now, you just mentioned it, seeing those young guys that are leading teams. How does it feel like? What's the top guy on your team make?
He makes like 60,000 a month, 70,000 a month.
How old is he?
He just turned 19.
Bro, what? Did you ever think that everybody thinks like, oh, the guys at the top make money? That's not true. Me and Coach talked about this on the last pod. There's people that are, 10 steps above you, and this guy can make more money than them. Whoever's putting in the work is whoever reaps the reward. Did you ever think that a 19-year-old kid could make that much income?
I thought it was impossible unless they were doing something illegal.
Yeah. Because now it's like we have 7 people at the $1 million level. We have like at least 25 making $500,000 up a year. And most of these guys are 19, 20, 21. Like,
It's crazy.
it's insane, bro. Like, I just got off a call with Tanner, and I don't know if you saw his post today. Like, I think he cleared 160,000 in September. He's 21 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's probably the best business in the world, and the way we do it, though, we're not addicted to the results. We're
Yeah.
addicted to being number one. The money's nice and all. The industry's very, very good, and we love it. But the results are the results. But we want to be number one.
And that's all it is like, because I've seen it. Like, last night I was going to post this, and I was like, some people might get offended. I'm not going to post it. Or I'll wait till the first day Q4 when I'm super fired up, and then I'll try to piss off a couple people, But it's so easy to dominate here.
It is.
It's so freaking easy to dominate here because 90% of the competition doesn't work.
They're just addicted
And
to
when
results.
I learned that, everything changed. When I learned 90% of the people that I'm competing with only show up for their teams once a week or once a month, that's when I was like, okay, now it's time to double down, time to triple down. I'm the first one here. I roll in at 9:05. After I drop off the kids, get some breakfast, usually might be one or two people before me. Usually it's between 8:50 and 9. But like you can't stop showing up. That's what it's come down to. And most people, when they get to a certain level, they just stop. And I hear and I see it in my DMs all the day, like, hey, the only time we see our manager is when they get on to give us the motivational call once a week. I'm like, bro, that's not going to get you to the next level. What are some of the biggest challenges you've dealt with as a leader?
Like I said, definitely the biggest challenge I went through is, trying to instill leaders into my team.
Like, from a personal standpoint that came from you, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you personally went through?
Definitely not getting complacent, because I never made this type of money ever in my life, so I can see how the rest of the industry can become complacent. And I feel like that was the biggest challenge for me. You get tested, especially when you're making that type of money. You get the nice car, you get this. That's when you're ultimately tested, to see if you're going to get to that next level. So definitely staying on, no matter what the team was doing, no matter what I was depositing, is not having that complacency in me. I wanted to always show up like how I showed up when I first started the business. And that's what I stick to every single day.
Now, life is a lot different than you were when you started, right?
100%.
What are you driving now?
A Lamborghini Urus.
Was that the dream car?
That was one of the dream cars, yes.
Lamborghini Urus. How old?
I'm 20. I just turned 25.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say 24, but it was right. You just turned 25. But, bro, Lamborghini at 25 years old. Did you ever think it would happen that quick?
I didn't think it would happen that quick. I knew I was going to get it one day, but I never knew it was going to happen that quick. But that's what happens when you come into the right vehicle and you have the right systems, and every single day you show up to kill. The results come faster than you thought.
What do you mean about that mindset, show up to kill? Exactly.
Show up to kill no matter what. Every single day is a new day. No matter what happened yesterday or the day before, today is a new day. How am I going to maximize my day today? How am I going to get the most out of my day today? God woke me up this morning. I got to be great today. The future is an illusion. The past is gone. The only thing you have is the present.
Yes, sir. Well, we're excited to see how you finish out the year. We're excited to see what the entire organization of Alpha Code does. Where we get to as a group, as a unit to end the year. And you guys have some heavy hitters on that side being led through some great leadership with yourself. And we're just super appreciative to have you guys with us. And the belief that you had in us, man, when we didn't have results or really anything much to show you. But
I appreciate you for believing in me.
Yes, sir.
Believing in me and
baby.
giving me the ball. And, we ran with it.
Let's go. We're going to keep running.